welcome back here. Round number 4 of our Gym Challenge Premier Challenge here at Psycho Turtle Collectibles in Pico Rivera, California. I'm Dennis Geisler. With me are Bidoof and Bidoof. Keep kind of pointing in that general direction. It doesn't really totally work, but that's fine. We're getting into round number 4. As I said, we have Nicholas Rubingh and Jacob Hans for our round number 4 matchup. Both players, I know, with a chance to still make top cut. I believe Nicholas is 2-1. Jacob might be 1-2. Might be 2-1. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to it. Anyways, Nicholas with the Urshifu Rapid Strike, Archaludon, Pelipper, Amoonguss, Baxcalibur, and Flutter Mane. Jacob with Ogerpon, Wellspring, Gouging Fire, Annihilate, Tatsugiri, Curly, orange form, I think. Fluttermane and Dondozo. Right off the bat, obviously a rain team from Nicholas, and Jacob with some Pokemon that kind of want to scrap in the rain. It'll boost Dondozo's damage, it'll boost Ogerpon's damage. Neither of them are, well, they don't love getting hit by some of these moves. There's no fun. There is Electro Shot on Nicholas's side, and that should really put a dent into Dondozo. And Dondozo doesn't necessarily want to scrap with Archaludon in general. It does have the Earthquake, but Terra Grass would really kind of knock over Dondozo. Would really struggle with that matchup. So a lot of options here for each player. I think Nicholas probably wants to spec into that rain. You don't have a ton of options without it. You're kind of forcing that Baxcalibur. The Baxcalibur with a clear Amulet, Glaive Rush, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, and Protect. No Intimidate here for Jacob, so that clear Amulet will not go to much use. Nicholas dressed up festively, as you can see on the minicam there. I'm also trying to dress up festively. I said earlier, this is like the best green I could get while it doesn't like make me look transparent on the green screen background. I could have done more, but in any case, lead for Nicholas, Pelipper, and Urshifu. For Jacob, it's Gouging Fire, Dondozo. Rain already up. No Damp Rock from Pelipper. It's Focus Sash. But still, has the Weather Ball to do, I believe it's 100 base power, water type move under rain, which is great. And I believe no way for Jacob to overwrite the weather. Indeed. So it's going to be a little awkward for Jacob to fight through this. I mean, Gouging Fire loses a lot of its value if you're not able to Heat Crash. Annihilate is Terra Fire. Although that doesn't necessarily mean a ton, it just means it probably won't end up Terra-ing. Gonna see the Gouging Fire go for the Terra right now. Terra Fairy. No switches, so Dondozo's sticking around, and Dondozo's getting hit by a couple Surging Strikes. No different than if Tatsugiri had jumped into Dondozo's Gaping Maw, as would have broken through those boosts anyways. Gouging Fire will use the Howl. Raise its attack, raise Dondozo's attack. And Pelipper gets the Tailwind off. What is Dondozo going to go for here? Order Up. Big Order Up onto the Urshifu. Way smaller Order Up than I actually expected onto the Urshifu. Expected that to be way more damage. Doesn't get any bonuses because there's no Tatsugiri in its belly. So now Dondozo at +1 attack. I also want to mention about this Annihilate that it's Punching Glove. I've always wanted to make Punching Glove work. It's got Rage Fist, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Protect. I don't think Punching Glove is ideal there, but it is cool. I like Punching Glove quite a bit. Surging Strikes again to Dondozo. Still no switches. So Dondozo's gonna take 3 more hits. Another Surging Strike might take down the Dondozo. It'll be close. But the Hurricane, that might finish off the Dondozo. It does not have very good special attack. And there goes, or excuse me, special defense, and there goes the Dondozo. And the Gouging Fire Breaking Swipe at +1 can do some okay damage, but not actually going to affect anything in terms of the damage dealt, because that Urshifu is locked into Surging Strikes, and Pelipper doesn't hit physically. Getting underway for Fluttermane. Fluttermane back in here, or Fluttermane in for the first time. Not a terrible opportunity here for Pelipper to wide guard. The Breaking Swipe is basically the only thing Gouging Fire can comfortably do right now, and Fluttermane, Icy Wind, Shadow Ball, Moonblast, Protect doesn't actually have the Dazzling Gleam, so not too necessary, especially if you're not afraid of the Breaking Swipe, which, honestly, I'm not that afraid of the Breaking Swipe. I wasn't. At +1, it did not do that much damage. This is also Safety Goggles Gouging Fire, not a booster variant, so it's not too fast. The booster speed Fluttermane that we're seeing, and that booster speed Fluttermane is not faster than Urshifu. Scarf Urshifu is just going to run it over. Rain and Weather Ball into the Gouging Fire. Good damage, not going to be enough. And another Breaking Swipe, nearly going to take down both these Pokemon, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here. We'll see what comes in at the end. It might have to be... it's Tatsugiri. Sorry, that sounded overly mean to Tatsugiri. I think Tatsugiri is not going to be super useful here. It's Choice Specs, so it does actually have a little bit of its own value. It is going to be able to Surf here. A Surf could knock out both of these Pokemon. The problem is if there's anything in the back that can take a Surf, then we're done here. I think we're done here regardless. I think Nicholas is going to win this game. We'll see. Surging Strikes into the Gouging Fire. That'll pick up the KO for sure. And even then, the Tailwind's still available, and this is not a Scarf Tatsugiri that ends up being kind of fast. This is the Specs Tatsugiri. Not going to Rapid Spin or anything to get its speed up. There's the Hurricane. 100% accurate in the rain. Good damage. Gets the Confusion. Will Tatsugiri be able to hit through it? Ah? It does get to use Icy Wind through it. I don't know if Icy Wind will pick up... Ooh, it will pick up both the knockouts. It is Choice Specs, I suppose. We'll see what's in the back. Icy Wind's probably ideal in terms of doing damage to every Pokemon remaining. And Tailwind is down now. This is Amoonguss and our Chaludon. I think aside from everything else, I think an Amoonguss Spore will probably end this one. I don't think Amoonguss is going to get blasted from 100% by an Icy Wind. Not to mention an Electro Shot might be enough. Has to break through the Confusion as well. And it does not. Hits itself in Confusion. Our Chaludon Electro Shot will finish off game number 1. I'm not going to say should. I'm going to say it will finish off game number 1. And there we go. Tatsugiri knocked out, and Nicholas Rubingh wins game number 1. Nicely played there, all things considered. Never really in concern, and this is a real rough matchup for Jacob, all things considered. Dondozo doesn't really like playing against a lot of the Pokemon here, and doesn't like committing to Dondozo Tatsugiri in a lot of cases. Ogerpon Wellspring can be kind of nice, but the problem is that you basically are forced to Terra against this Pelipper, and even if you Terra, you get hit by Electro Shot. Gouging Fire doesn't want to be stuck just using Breaking Swipe, but it kind of is into a team that does not hit physically very often. Like, there's nothing that really actually gets stopped by Breaking Swipe. It's like our Chaludon's Heavy Slam is the only thing that's affected seriously, because Baxcalibur is Clear Amulet, and Urshifu Rapid Strike uses Surging Strike, so there's nothing the Gouging Fire gets done. And then Annihilate, it's Annihilate. Annihilate simply sometimes just doesn't get anything done. It has some options, but it's also not like leftovers or anything. It's just kind of Drain Punch, and Amoonguss can definitely handle it. Ice Punch into Amoonguss, or like a Rage Fist stacked up a couple times, maybe, but I don't know how much this I don't know how Jacob's gonna get out of this one. It's a really tough matchup looking at it on paper here. Getting on in here for game number 2. Same leads from Jacob, different leads from Nicholas. We're going to see the Archaludon this time instead of the Urshifu. This does mean the Archaludon has no ground types. I'm seeing Electro Shot right into that Dondozo. No even electric resists other than Gouging Fire. Well, I'm feeling Electro Shot right now, right into that Dondozo. And the worst thing that can happen is, I don't know, the Dondozo switches out into Annihilate maybe? But then Pelipper can get like a Tailwind up or something. Pretty good spot to be in if you're Nicholas. Nicholas is also going to burn the Terra turn 1. Probably feeling something good about this setup. Gonna go on the Archaludon, Terra Grass. As we mentioned earlier, not a whole lot hits a grass type on this team, especially in rain. Now the fire types aren't allowed to hit it anymore. Dondozo will protect. Does mean the Electro Shot still gets off. Howl from Gouging Fire. Boosts the Dondozo's attack up 1 stage. Pelipper gets a Tailwind up though, so that's going to be tough to play around for Jacob. And we're going to see the Electro Shot. Does it read the Dondozo Protect? Even if it doesn't, still gets that +1 special attack for free. And it was into the Dondozo. No damage done, but no damage done by anyone. And just to howl off on Jacob's side versus a Tailwind, I think is probably in Nicholas's favor, because I think you could do that Electro Shot play, the exact same thing again. That's gonna do a bunch of damage to the Dondozo. You could also Dragon Pulse. And the Dondozo is Terra Grass. If it decides to Terra here, if it's a Dondozo Terra plus a Tatsugiri switch in, Dragon Pulse catches that out a little bit better. Although another Electro Shot would put you at +2 special attack. Gouging Fire will switch out. That probably signals a Tatsugiri coming in here. It does. We've got the Commander. There is the Tatsugiri Dondozo duo that we all know and love. +2 to every stat for Dondozo. It's also already at +1 attack. Doesn't have much to do against the Terra Grass Archaludon though. We'll see the Terra as well, Terraing to Grass. I believe Nicholas is a red this one though. And there's the big Dondozo. Pelipper Hurricane, that's gonna definitely hit Dondozo pretty hard. Yeah, not as hard as I thought, honestly. It gets the Confusion, which is rough for Dondozo. Archaludon did go for the Electro Shot, so it'll boost the special attack once again, but honestly, probably for the best, because then this Archaludon might be able to run over the rest of this battle. Again, there's not a lot Dondozo does against Archaludon right now. And Confused Dondozo at +3 attack is dangerous. Gets the order up off. Onto the Archaludon. Surprisingly good damage. Archaludon gets a stamina defense boost though. Dondozo does get the attack boost out of it, so they're both get a boost from that. But I don't know that Dondozo gets through this turn. I think a cool Hurricane plus Dragon Pulse probably ends things for Dondozo's day. Dondozo going for a protect. Does get it. Trying to stall out the Tailwind, most likely. Try to get the speed advantage. And none of the attacks hit, because Dondozo protected. One more turn of Tailwind. Most likely one more turn of Rain as well. Dondozo could go for the double protect to try to stall out the Tailwind. I feel like that's one of the best outs. That is, will try to attack. Hurricane nearly knocks out Dondozo, and Dragon Pulse definitely will finish it off. And with Tailwind coming back off, Dondozo also leaves the field. There goes Tailwind, but the damage has already been done. Tailwind can go back up. Pelipper still has its Focus Sash, of all things. Jacob now switching something in here. There has got to be the Gouging Fire or whatever is fourth in the back. It's going to be Gouging Fire coming back in. Rain is nearly done. Not too much rain. I think this is the last turn of Rain. So a decision to make for Nicholas. Do you prioritize the Rain? Do you prioritize the... Excuse me, do you prioritize the Rain, or do you prioritize the Tailwind, or do you just prioritize damage altogether? Honestly, you have a ton of room to work with now that Dondozo's out of the way and Tatsugiri's kind of just sitting there. You still have 3 Pokemon basically at full HP. Pelipper's going to switch out, so the Rain will come back up. Tailwind will be down, but honestly, kind of a fine spot to be in if you are Nicholas. Gouging Fire will get the Breaking Swipe off, but that will just boost our Chalodon's defense even higher. And doesn't do anything to Amoonguss. It does like 31 damage. Tatsugiri Draco Meteor, will this take down the Archaludon? It does. That's a big Draco Meteor from that Tatsugiri, and it can switch out and get that done again. So Archaludon now down. That is a big knockout for Jacob to try to get through this one. Pelipper can swap back in to get the Rain back up, or Baxcalibur can come in and just be a very strong Pokemon, because Baxcalibur is pretty tough. Glaive Rush is super effective against both these Pokemon. It'll hit both of them pretty hard. Icicle Crash will hit them both less hard. And meanwhile, Amoonguss can definitely spore some Pokemon and slow ride through this one. A Spore into the Tatsugiri slot would be a little risky, just because the Tatsugiri slot is likely to switch out, and it could switch out into the Ogerpon. I think that's one of the better chances for Jacob here. Tatsugiri switches out. And it was indeed the Ogerpon, so we'll see if Nicholas decided to spore into that slot and waste the turn. Gouging Fire with a Breaking Swipe. Excalibur takes some decent damage against it, to be honest. Clear Amulet, blocks any drop, and it does go for the Glaive Rush into the Ogerpon slot. Not enough to pick up the KO, and the Spore not affecting Gouging Fire. It's got safety goggles, gotta remember. Easy to forget, easy to forget. But now Ogerpon on just a sliver of HP. Excalibur will get taken at least very low, if not taken out by the next Breaking Swipe, on account of the Glaive Rush damage bonus. Damage bonus to the Pokemon that just used Glaive Rush, which Excalibur is the only one. Amoonguss going to switch out, get that Regenerator bonus HP. Pelipper coming back in, resetting the Rain. Particularly good if you can get Ogerpon out of here this turn. Ice Shard will finish off the Ogerpon. Just a Shard of Ice, but just enough. And and we'll see what the Breaking Swipe does. Oh no, it's Heat Crash into the Pelipper slot. Uh-oh, that's not going to do much. Breaks the Focus Sash, but that's not what you wanted to do, especially on the Glaive Rush turn. Because now, basically a free Glaive Rush for Baxcalibur if Nicholas wants it, and if Nicholas doesn't want it, can go for anything else. Baxcalibur will switch out, get the Amoonguss back in here. Gouging Fire is going to Howl to try to boost its attack. That's not Howl this time in. Tatsugiri, Draco Meteor, into the Pelipper. Does pick up the knockout, but Tatsugiri can't do that trick again without a crit. But Pelipper is down now. So no... no Tailwind, no Wide Guard, which will certainly help in just clicking Breaking Swipe, but Gouging Fire might get taken down by the next Glaive Rush, which might decide things. Although Tatsugiri against Amoonguss could be an interesting one. I think Amoonguss eventually wins that. Amoonguss gets the Rage Powder off as well, but the Breaking Swipe's really the concern here. There's the Breaking Swipe. Ooh, barely not enough to finish off the Baxcalibur. So close. Draco Meteor would have finished off the Baxcalibur. Does good damage, actually, to the Amoonguss. Shockingly good for the halved special attack. It will keep dropping, but Amoonguss not on the greatest amount of health. This Glaive Rush will be very important. Does it pick up the knockout? It does. It does pick up the knockout. Of course it does. Baxcalibur is really hard hitting, and Glaive Rush hits for a ton of damage. And now it is just to the Amoonguss and the Baxcalibur. Amoonguss can go for probably another Rage Powder. Baxcalibur can get another Glaive Rush down and finish this one out. There's the Rage Powder. Draco Meteor from Tatsugiri incoming. There it is. Reduced damage by a decent margin, although another one maybe could get it. Doesn't matter though, because Glaive Rush will pick up the KO, and Nicholas Rubingh, ooh, with the crit. With the crit, picks up the 2-0 victory in round number 4. Our first 2-0 on stream of the day. A lot of long, close sets, and that was a long, close game number 4. That was very, very close to going a different way. If that final Breaking Swipe had done just a tiny bit more damage and had gotten Gouging Fire out of that one, or even if Tatsugiri had locked itself into a different move, although I don't know what would have happened if it done that. In any case, nicely played by each of our players there. Definitely a weird matchup for Jacob to go into, and I think Jacob adapted fairly well to it. It was interesting seeing so much of Tatsugiri without Dondozo, both in the first game without it entirely, and in the second game lingering out there for a really long time without it and switching in and out. Spec certainly gave it a lot of extra value that I wouldn't have expected. In any case, we are going to go on a quick break. Round 5 is up next. Final round of Swiss. Crunch time. We're going to get a probably elimination-ish battle. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere.